I don't know how long this post will stay up before someone takes it down. Maybe they're already watching me type. Maybe they've been watching since the day I walked into that desert compound and signed my name on a stack of papers thicker than a Bible. They told me it was medicine. That's the hook they use on people like me, scientists too ambitious, too eager to be remembered for something bigger than a research paper buried in an academic journal no one reads. The next leap in human longevity, they said. We're curing disease. You'll be saving lives. I believed them. God help me, I believed them. The facility wasn't on any map, but everyone whispered about it. Just miles from Area 51, hidden under the desert crust like a tumor. The guards didn't smile, the corridors hummed with the kind of electricity that makes your teeth ache, and no one ever asked questions in the cafeteria. We all knew better. At first, I was working with genomes, splicing sequences, layering gene editing techniques that shouldn't exist outside of theoretical papers. We were told to merge human DNA with that of various animals, primates, felines, even marine predators. We called it optimization. But it was never about health. It was never about medicine. It was about building something new. Something stronger, faster, more adaptable than a human should ever be. The files had code names, cold designations typed in black on white. But the whispers in the labs betrayed the truth. We weren't making patients. We were making weapons. And the worst part? For a time, we thought we'd succeeded. The first viable subject was labeled H9. Just a number in the system, like a file in a drawer. But when you looked at it, at him, there was no mistaking what we'd done. He wasn't a monster, not at first. That's the part that keeps me awake. He looked, almost human. The proportions were wrong, too long in the arms, too sharp in the jawline, but he could stand, walk, even mimic expressions. His eyes tracked us with an intensity that made the hair rise on the back of my neck. We ran tests. Motor skills. Memory puzzles. Simple problem solving. Within days, H9 was outperforming us. He solved mazes faster than the AI software we'd programmed to benchmark him. He remembered patterns we forgot after minutes. When he lifted a steel bar, bent it, like it was nothing, we laughed nervously, like kids who just watched a magic trick. That laughter didn't last long. There was something in the way he looked at us. Not grateful, not curious. Assessing. Like we were the subjects behind the glass, and he was learning how we moved, how we thought. We told ourselves it was progress. That this was the proof of concept the program needed. The higher-ups clapped us on the back, murmured about applications, about strategic advantages. No one asked what it meant for the thing inside the cell. But I could feel it, even then, standing on the other side of that reinforced glass, clipboard trembling in my hand. H9 wasn't our breakthrough. He was our replacement. The mistake wasn't dramatic. No power outage, no Hollywood-style sabotage. It was simple, the kind of oversight that happens when people start believing their own lies. We thought we were in control. It was a Tuesday. I remember because the desert air outside the facility was thick with dust storms, making the hallways glow a strange red from the emergency lamps they'd switched on as a precaution. We had H9 running coordination drills, hand-eye tasks designed to measure reflexes. He performed flawlessly, of course. Too flawlessly. One of the junior techs, Patel, I think, decided to up the difficulty. A sudden burst of sound, flashing lights, obstacles thrown in his path. Stress tests. He wanted to impress the directors. That's when H9 stopped performing and started watching. The subject froze mid-task, eyes narrowing. Then, faster than the cameras could track, he lunged at the barrier wall. His body slammed into reinforced glass so hard the entire observation deck shook. The guards laughed. They always laughed. They thought rifles and protocols were enough. They didn't see what I saw in H9's face, not rage, not panic, but calculation. He was learning the limits of his cage. Testing it the way you or I might test a locked door. Protocol dictated sedation after aggressive behavior. The dart hit his neck. He went down, but his eyes never closed. He lay there, muscles twitching, watching us will him back to containment. I told myself it was a fluke, a stress response. But my gut knew better. We hadn't just made a hybrid. We'd made something that knew how to wait. And waiting was all it needed. The alarms went off at 2:14. I remember the exact time because I woke up to that sound, the klaxon echoing through the concrete halls, the kind that rattles your bones before your brain even catches up. I stumbled into the corridor. Red strobes pulsed overhead, painting the walls like they were bleeding. Soldiers rushed past, barking codes I didn't recognize. I grabbed one by the sleeve, demanded to know what was happening. He just shouted, "Containment breach," and kept running. H9. I knew it before anyone said his name. The monitors in the control room showed static, shattered glass, trails of blood smeared across the floor. He'd torn through steel restraints like they were paper. The first response team, 6 men with rifles, had engaged him. The footage cut in and out, but the screams didn't. They bled through the speakers until someone yanked the feed. I caught glimpses on one surviving camera. A blur of motion too fast to track. Limbs bending at angles they shouldn't, jaws unhinged wider than any human's. He didn't just overpower them. He outmaneuvered them. Using shadows. Angles. Like he'd studied us for this moment. The sirens shifted pitch, evacuation order. I should have run. Every instinct screamed at me to run. But my badge was flagged, essential personnel. They wanted us to stay. To help lock it down. By the time I realized that was suicide, the outer blast doors had already sealed. We weren't locking him out. We were locking ourselves in. The power cut 30 minutes after the breach. Silence swallowed the facility, broken only by the distant drip, drip of something I didn't want to identify. We huddled in the dark with flashlights. Every few minutes, one went out, along with the person holding it. No screams, no struggle. Just, gone. I saw him once. A flash of pale skin and teeth at the end of a hallway, crouched low like an animal, but his eyes were calculating, deliberate. He knew we were terrified. He enjoyed it. I crawled into a storage closet and locked the door. Through the vents I heard the wet tearing sounds, the gurgles. Colleagues. Friends. Patel. He wasn't killing for escape. He was killing to practice. And he was getting better. If you're reading this, it means I got a signal out. I don't know how long before they trace it back to me. Maybe minutes. The official reports will say it was an accident, a fire, maybe a chemical spill. That's what they always say. But it wasn't. It was Subject H9. He's out now. Somewhere beyond the fences, somewhere in the Nevada desert. They'll call it animal attacks, hikers gone missing, shredded cattle. Don't believe it. Animals don't stalk like that. Don't plan like that. We built him to be stronger, faster, smarter than us. And now he's free. If you ever hear those reports, if you ever see something in the dark that looks almost human, run.